This is Tujenge, Build It Better, a show that exists to show you how to build everything better. And what exactly do we mean by this? This show exists to show you how to build without bleeding your pockets, which materials to use, how to get certified fundis, and how to use skilled laborers, and where to get them, and why it is important. Actually, let's start from there. A key element in construction is labor, with a bigger percentage of watu wa mikono being informal laborers whose jobs mostly come through word of mouth or referrals, with their level of income directly correlated to the quality of service they give, pegged on their skill level. To kickstart this conversation, we head to the National Training Institute, whose focus is training. So here with me is the Principal, National Training Institute, Bwana David Simiu. So tell us, first of all, what do you do here?
We deal with training in technical skills.
Yes.
That's building and construction courses, including specifically masonry. We do plumbing, we do wiring installation, painting.
Wale mafundi wote
kwenye mjengo. Yes, kwenye mjengo.
What is it that Kenyans are not doing so as to get the best out of, the service that they're going to receive in the building of their houses?
Kitu muhimu, wakati umechukua pesa, uko na pesa za kujenga nyumba, you can afford to get the best material according to your locality. But the key thing that you need somebody who is trained, certified, and accredited.
But why?
One is that they will have the know-how of how to build houses, and more so, why they should build a certain house in a certain way. I would say building a house is like making a garment that you're going to put on. Every house has a function.
Yes.
And it's the function of that house that determines the design of that house, the materials that you need, the level of expertise of the fundis that you're going to employ.
Okay.
And that's where training comes in. To make sure that we train people who are qualified. And it has many benefits why training is necessary.
Okay.
Yes.
Why don't we have many trained fundis?
So one is the cost.
Yes.
The other one is time. The cost of training is prohibitive when you compare the income that the fundis are getting. Most of them get between 500 and 1,000, depending on the site, and also depending on where they come from.
Yes.
So the fundis need to be equipped with this knowledge so that one, they can also demand for better working conditions and better payment. And normally when fundis are trained and certified and accredited by the National Construction Authority, they stand a higher chance of working on registered sites. Normally registered sites pay higher in terms of wages than unregistered sites. Time is that the fundis normally work right from morning at 8 to 5.
Evening,
And so if you add on commuting from where they stay, that would mean right from 6 to 6, and they don't have time to train. And in most cases, this is hand-to-mouth work.
Yeah.
So they work from Monday to Saturday.
Yeah.
And so if you ask them to come to a college like this, they'll tell you, okay, I'm willing to, but I just don't have time.
Nita save, ama ni familia nitashughulikia.
Yes, watakula ama nitaenda kusoma.
Kweli.
Na watoto pengine wako shule,
Yeah.
anahitaji kulipa rent. So they would rather continue working, being paid little, and not being trained because they do not have any other alternative. And so that's now where the National Construction, the National Training Institute, YMCA, came up with the thought of, why can't we train these people from where they are? That's the on-site training concept.
Oh, so you have people who go on an actual site where kuna watu wanataka kuanzia kufanya kazi hapo?
Yes.
And they do the trainings there?
Yes, what we do, we go to the site, we talk to the contractor and the people in charge. We ask them for permission to speak to their workers, those who are not skilled. We ask if they can join the program. And from our experience, yes, the response is good because finally we are meeting part of their need, and that's the need to train.
So what is the
difference of experience between skilled, a trained fundi and an untrained fundi?
Now, basically, from a general perspective, they might like give you the same product.
Yeah.
But if you look down into the details, you realize that a trained fundi knows more. Knows more in that they have the reasons why they do the things they do. For example, after building this wall, then have to cure it. Now, a trained fundi knows why they should cure it and for what period of time. The non-trained fundi might know that they cure, but they don't know why they are curing. Yes,
I see.
And the reason and the danger with that is that since they do not know why, if they are not being supervised, they will not do it because they do not appreciate the reason why we should cure it. So trained skill means you are reducing cost of redoing, reworking that section. Kwa sababu kama ni mjengo, kama ni ukuta umejengwa na umejengwa vibaya, ukija kuangaliwa utaambiwa bomoa huu ukuta, jenga tena. There is a cost element to that. Na pia mambo ya usalama. If a house is built haphazardly, they didn't follow the rules and the principles of putting up a house, hiyo nyumba itabomoka, and we've seen this in the news in this country. The reason behind that is some of the people who are employed did not even know why they were doing what they were doing. As a contractor with your skilled team, you are also looking at the welfare of the client, who is the homeowner.
Yes.
And the homeowner might choose certain materials because probably they saw somebody, or maybe their neighbor using the same materials.
What are the financial implications to the persons being trained?
At the moment we are doing it on a pilot basis.
Okay.
And we have partners who are working with us.
I see.
The main aim is that we are trying to look at what can be the entry level to the fundis to be able to train, because the end product here is we want skilled fundis. So what we've done is that we've reduced the cost, actually by 50% of the fundis joining the program. And we are also partnering with the site owners and some government agencies to make sure that we maintain the quality. So actually now we charge less than 50% for the fundi to join the program. But in the pilot program, they're actually joining now for free because we want to see what works and what doesn't work. And what we are doing here is that we are not just training the fundis and releasing them to the market. We've also formed a database of the fundis that we've trained. And we are sharing the same database with our partners, that if you have a fundi who says he's accredited, you can verify that information.
You've heard it all from David Simiu, the principal, National Training Institute. He has given details on why it is important, how it benefits you as a fundi, and how it benefits you as the homeowner in your quest to build it better. But what role does the government, in this case the Ministry of Labour, play in the training practices? I caught up with the head of the National Industrial Training Authority to ask about their role in the affordable housing agenda. Nata is a state authority that is responsible for ensuring workers in various industries across the country are competent through training, improving, innovating, and changing workers' skill set to fit the current needs in the industries.
What exactly is the mandate of Nata?
We are responsible for establishing competences for workers in industry. We have innovative approaches to specific trainings for the industry. One of them is upskilling workers. The second one is reskilling of workers. And the third one is approaches including hybrid apprenticeship, innovative apprenticeship approaches, notwithstanding the fact that we're also responsible for attaching beneficiaries from all institutions in Kenya so that they can have experiential knowledge in the industries.
Nata accepts anyone into their training programs, so it doesn't matter if you're already semi-skilled or not. You can walk right from the street and show interest in learning how to build a wall, and you will be accepted.
How many people have you impacted to date?
On an annual basis for the past 5 years, we do an average of 100,000 beneficiaries on trade test, which implies that apart from that assessment and certification portfolio, where we ensure that workers transiting and within the industry are properly standardized in terms of certification, we also train annually not less than 100,000. So we are saying that for a period of that time, we have impacted over 1 million workers in this country.
Education, rightfully so, has two avenues where you either learn theory or you learn practical. There are some people who have only learned practical. Basically, they have been on the ground since somebody, an uncle introduced them to a specific, trade as an electrician, or specifically since we're dealing with construction, as, somebody who's in the construction industry. And they've done it for so many years, and then they are watching this. They're like, why should I bother going, to Nata, yet I have been doing this for so many years. Now I have to go to Nata and then start again from scratch as if I'm learning something with somebody who just joined yesterday in class. I'll be the teacher in that class,
Yeah, Martin, you are right. And that's very interesting. It's interesting in the context that such beneficiaries who actually play a critical role in all sectors of this economy, especially in the informal sector. You just talked today about meeting a technician who was a Nata beneficiary. Most of the construction workers who are very keen in terms of practical experience are people who gained competences within the industry, notwithstanding any formal experiences. It's important to recognize that as we talk today, in drawing from the presidential directive that we must now formalize what we call recognition of prior learning, so that we can open up qualifications for people in the formal sector to appertain to what you have just said. People with experiences who can now be quantified in terms of prior learning that they have gained in the workplace.
Can you give me a brief, somebody in construction, for example, what the assessment process, for example, would
Yes,
be?
very easy. First of all, if you believe that you have been a mason for so many years, say 10 years, I would want, first of all, to have evidence from you that you've been in the industry for 10 years. The evidence would also mean that you share with us the projects that you've undertaken in a project portfolio. Evidences means that you have references or testimonials from your clients in terms of photos and everything. Then you'll also probably be given a small assessment in terms of practical assessment to demonstrate at a very high level whether you are able to declare and demonstrate the competence that you are claiming to have. Notwithstanding that, we also interview you, and we also interview your clients to ascertain and to provide evidence that what you claim to be true is actually true.
So how is Nata actively engaged in promoting the Big Four agenda on specifically affordable housing?
We are responsible for ensuring that we are given a target of 10,000 workers assessed and certified every other year.
Wow.
And working in collaboration with the National Construction Authority, 11,000 workers to be trained on and off-site. So we have a big target that within a period of 5 years, we should have processed at least 50,000 workers assessed and certified under the affordable housing agenda. We believe that apart from the target that we're meeting in partnering with the National Construction Authority and other private players in that sector, we also have other targets that we meet formally through our 5 training institutions at Nata Mombasa, Nata Athi River, Nata Kisumu, Nata Nairobi. So we are saying that this is a target that we must meet. The requirement for qualified building construction workers in Kenya is always growing. You can see a lot of construction work in civil and other areas that we must, as an authority, satisfy in terms of ensuring that all workers at all levels, when you look at the skills pyramid, at the bottom, there are many artisans. Whenever there's a project, we need only probably one engineer, one architect. Several technologists, a couple of technicians, but very many hands-on workers. And those are kazi ya mikono ni watu wetu sasa. Those are the people we must be able to satisfy in terms of that demand.
The advantages of proper training. So, having been to YMCA and now at Nata, we've gone through a bit of what it takes to go through the training process. We've seen some of the people training, but now in responding to the demands of the industry and advancing with new technological ways of doing something that a lot of people think should be done Juakali. We are going to get to our next destination, which is Eurofix, where the specialty is actually in tiling, but they are doing it in a way that is not only advanced, but cost effective. Let's see what that is about after the break. Before the break, we had a conversation at the National Industrial Training Authority, that is Nata. And one of the key takeaways was them offering training to respond to the demands of the industry. And one of the industry practitioners and a partner with Nata is Eurofix, a tiling cement adhesive company that is coming up with ways of providing cheaper and less time-consuming ways of tiling. We are going to go and engage with them and get to understand how much more they advance affordable housing. Come join us.
A brief background about ourselves.
Okay.
Eurofix Industry is a vertically integrated manufacturing company.
What do you mean by vertically?
We basically manufacture and we have our distribution network,
Okay.
which is well established. And we produce a wide range of products using the latest technology in the market. And our pride is on our R&D department, which strives very hard to bring knowledge, new products into the market.
And what are some of the products that you manufacture here at Eurofix?
We actually, at the moment, we cover 75% of if you're building an house,
Construction products.
we can supply 75% of construction material.
Nice.
But we have areas that we are specialists in, especially in tiling. We have a wide range of tiling adhesive cements that we do manufacture. These are the latest technology in the market.
What do you mean by the latest technology? Kwani kuna njia ingine kuweka tiles isipokuwa simiti, wekelea slab, move on?
Up to date, still the fundis are still using the ordinary cement to do tiling. This is not the right material for tiling. And through partnership with government institutions and private sectors, we have been trying to basically do a skill transfer to these fundis through training programs so that we are able to advance the knowledge to them. And our theme is very simple. We try to bring the knowledge of the right product for the right work.
But we are using Eurofix tile adhesive. You can see we are using very minimal material. The notch 12 covers 1.5 mm. Then there is the other product, our granite adhesive, for putting the bigger tiles.
The second product that we specialize in is on the walling. We have special plastering cement
Tutaweka tu maji kidogo
that basically saves cost. It's easy to use. It's economical. It's healthy in terms of health aspect of it. It does not have impact when fundis are working with it.
You come and apply our product, Jeep Master. You can even unasikia texture ya material yenyewe, very soft while you are doing it in the rough wall.
When also it comes to decorative, we also have decorative cement, cement-based paints, which we call Wall Master. So we also have in different colors, depending on preference.
This is for our exterior and interior finishes. Okay? You can see, this is already the final product. It has dried.
Yes.
Affordable housing is all about cutting costs.
Yeah.
And you can only cut costs if you have the right skills.
Yes.
The fundis have the right skills.
The right materials.
And they have the right materials.
Yes.
And they are doing their job in the right way.
What's the difference between what is known as the regular way of tiling
Yes.
and now when we use the tiling adhesive?
The market still, the bigger percentage of the market, almost 60%, are still using the ordinary cement for tiling. The ordinary cement will give you a coverage of 2 meters square, whereas tiling adhesive will give you 5 to 6 meters square. Okay? So, simple calculations, we look at the saving. 1 bag of ordinary cement will cost approximately 530 shilling. When you look at adhesive, which retails in the market at around 450 shilling, will give you double the job that will be covered by the ordinary cement.
But will it last longer? Is it better? Is it more dependable and reliable?
As here at Eurofix, our motto, our slogan is fix it forever. Yeah?
Okay.
Because once you use adhesive to fix your tile, it's like you have fixed those tiles forever. The second advantage, and the key one, I don't know if you have entered a building and you feel like the tiles want to come off.
Yes, they've warped, they've bubbled.
Yes,
some
that is called debonding. Debonding in most cases is caused by using ordinary cement to do tiling. So to address that issue of debonding, it's the use of Eurofix tiling adhesive that can address the issue of debonding. Adhesive, you save a lot on time and labor. When you're using the ordinary cement, the fundis have a process that they undertake, which does not apply when you're using tiling adhesive. One, they do what we call hacking. They hack the floor. The second thing, they soak tiles overnight so that they can apply them the following day. But in case of use of Eurofix tiling adhesive, that does not apply.
Mr. Chris, can you show us if we can put a top on top of the tile using our Eurofix tile adhesive? Putting tile on top of the... Yes, you have been called to do a repair. You don't need to go around hacking the tiles or destroying the tiles. You just need to... Yes. The advantages of Eurofix tile adhesive. Unaweza weka tile yako juu ya ingine.
How does Eurofix contribute to housing affordability as one of the big 4 agendas?
We are front runners, actually, that's the word. We have been the front runners in complementing the government initiative of the big 4. One, through manufacturing of affordable material. If construction material is affordable, the cost of construction becomes cheaper, and we achieve the affordability. If it cuts labor costs, you achieve the affordability. So our products have been manufactured in a way that they are aligned with the big 4 agenda of affordable housing.
Having just come from a class where we had participant fundis being upskilled, we already have one who had already gone through this process with Eurofix and is now a certified fundi. But we want to hear a bit of his story.
While putting our tiles, you know what we do?
My profession is accountant.
Hiyo ndio ulisomea?
Yes.
Accounting?
Yes.
Na ukamaliza?
I went up to section 5.
Hiyo ni mingi?
Yes.
So,
I've never been employed.
So what made you decide to transition from accounting to being not just a fundi, but a certified fundi?
I was invited to a group that was to start training at Nata grants, Nairobi industrial area. That was my first training with Eurofix. And from that time, the director, he got me a project.
After training, akakutafutia project?
Yes, I think that was like an internship after training of Nata. And the same client promoted me by referring me to another client. Yeah, that's where the journey began.
A chain, unatoka kwa huyu, unaenda kwa huyu.
Yeah.
And so far, how would you say your journey has been since when you began?
After then, personally, I started training my guys. Initially, I started with the tiling, and I specified with the tiling. But as for now, I've started constructing a whole structural building.
Nice.
And also, it has motivated me to go back to civil engineering. Yes.
Sasa usahau mambo ya accounting kabisa.
Yeah.
Now be a proper civil engineer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Presently, there is a very clear need for advancement of affordable construction, with the first call of action being to the personnel, watu wa mikono. Do you want to join the construction industry? Day one, make sure that you get the right training and upskilling to get the right accreditation, that you need to also get yourself a bit better premium rate for the jobs that you do. Have you been doing it before? 10 years, 20 years, it does not matter. There is recognition of prior learning that will allow the proper assessment to get you the right reskilling that you will need to get accreditation. All right? Make sure to engage with us in this conversation at NTV Kenya on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. I've been your host, Martin Githinji, and this is Tujenge. Build it better.